So let's get started. Thank you everyone for being here. I guess my first committee meeting is this. We want a motion to start the meeting. Do we need that?
Just call it to order.
Just call it to order. Well, then we'll call it to order. Thank you for everybody for coming for the Public Utilities Transportation Committee meeting, November 5th, 2020. And I guess we'll call for a motion to adopt the agenda.
You can, just for the record, just so you know who's here.
Okay.
For the far as y'all.
Okay. So, for the record, Bill Duvall, Lisa Newberry, Ann Hunsinger, and Mayor Martinez.
Yep.
I guess that's all we need to start, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess, Danny, you'll start us off talking about item number 1, Tuck Road and the water sewer line.
Before we start, since this is being YouTubed, we do have a new camera system. So if the audience loves to talk, you will now be on TV with the rest of us. So it'll pan over. So it's back there in the corner. So it's a new system that they've been working on this last week. So hopefully the people watching will tell us how great it is. So
what about when they talk? Do they need a mic?
Yes, the mic has the microphones back there. He'll come to you.
Okay.
And let you talk. We have extra microphones as well now. And your microphone should be working. So they've been working hard. So yes, thanks, Chairman Duvall. So I'm going to be talking about a few things. First things on the agenda is Tuck Road destination. These go hand in hand. We're talking about infrastructure, water, and sewer. This is an extremely complex project we've been working on. We started this in 2017 when Gwinnett County SPLOST first started. So this is for the restrooms at Destination Park. This is one of the joint projects that we are getting funding from Gwinnett County through their SPLOST program, along as our SPLOST. The biggest issue was there's no water and sewer at Destination Park. So we started thinking about how can we get water and sewer, what's the most economic, what's the benefit to the city. So we looked at it 2 ways. The simplest, cheapest, most sense was to run water and sewer from Destination Park with a small pump station to Foxberry Commons, as a subdivision just above Destination Park on the Gwinnett side off of Old Loganville. That would only service that park with a small, I believe it was a 2-inch sewer line and an 8-inch or 4-inch water main. I'm not sure which one it was. And then we looked at running a full-fledged water and sewer system down Tuck Road. And we really liked that approach because it opened the door for that development on that side. 2 years ago, we were working with different developers about developing 20. Mark Streifert here got involved in that. He had some property that he looked at. He was annexed into the city. The biggest issue on Tuck Road as well as Destination is there is no water. There is a 2-inch water line. Can you put that up on the screen for him? It is in your packet. It's in that big packet, 11 by 17. Just for the record, so the area we're talking about, it's on the screen. Tuck Road, Highway 20 is at the bottom of the screen. The water service area for this is the city of Loganville. So what that means is ordinance. Nobody wants to pay 2 tap fees because it's very costly. You pay Gwinnett tap fees, the city of Loganville tap fees. So this is the reason. Questions so far? All right, so the question is that from Mark is, it's too costly for him to run water and sewer. This project to run water and sewer from Highway 20 to the destination park is $1.2 million engineered. That has no rock in it, has nothing. That's just what we think it would cost today. I asked Mr. Streifert how much could he contribute. He sent us a letter, which I forwarded you all, of $150,000. That's a little hard to sell to the city council. The developer can only pay $150,000, and the city would have to pay the balance in any overages that we may have. Then you get the issue is, the other hurdle I had to jump was using Gwinnett County SPLOST in Walton County, which you're not supposed to cross special tax districts. But since we have to get sewer to the park, they didn't say I couldn't. They didn't say I could. They would not rule on it. This was the Gwinnett County auditors. So didn't really want to spend the money and then be told a year later that this was not an authorized purchase. You need to repay the SPLOST. So now we're looking at option 1 is this to run the sewer to the Gwinnett side, which the SPLOST money would cover. We have over $1 million in the parks to use for infrastructure. So if we go that route, then Mark has to figure out to run the water and sewer himself for the development. He's already told me that, Danny, I cannot run the sewer because I can't make my numbers work. But with the city council, allow me to put in septic tanks. I told him that's a decision that I cannot make. That would be the majority of the council. There is clause in our ordinance that says if sewer is not available, then they would be allowed to put on septic. So sewer right now is not in the area. It is across Highway 20 at the villas. I believe Mark even put that in many years ago. He's willing to possibly to if he sells more land, to add that sewer at a later date. But he'll come up here in a minute and tell you about his project and what he's willing to do. So the 2 things is, for one, destination park, it would be my recommendation to spend, the $200,000 to run it from destination to Foxbury Commons, the water and sewer. And then Mark would come up and ask y'all for a relief from sewer, which of course you have to go before the council.
And also we need to go ahead and do the destination park.
Yes,
It's
water and sewer is holding up the whole entire park. I cannot put the sidewalks in until the water structure, the utilities are in, because it's going to, I'll put sidewalks down and turn around and tear them up. So water and sewer has to go in first, then the sidewalks, and then we can build the restrooms and then upgrade the park. We have a little over $2 million for everything. And it's just waiting to be spent. And, we've collected close to, I think, 1.5 million thus far since March of 2017 to current with SPLOST. So, but this is holding up the whole thing. So we have enough money to start the water and sewer. We may not have enough money to do everything yet, but it'll buy some time, and we're hoping that starting spring of next year, we can go ahead and start the utilities. So my recommendation for Destination Park would be the $200,000 option. It's in your packet. If you go to, I believe it's the first page, it'll say meeting minutes. No, that's not it.
It's on page 2 of September letter.
Yes, it's on the back of the memo draft. Of course, this is from Keckenwood. So that would be my recommendation, to take that before the council. Any questions from y'all or the audience so far?
Not so far. Do we want to hear from
All right.
Mark?
So I'll let Mark come up here and talk about Tuck Road and what he's asking.
So do you want to add an 8-inch line to the park? Like, that might be part of what I'm going to talk about.
Well, I'm not sure if it's 8. I have to see with the engineer, but it would not go towards Tuck Road. It would stop at Destination Park. We wouldn't loop it.
Good evening. My name is Mark Streifert. This has been a project been going on since 2016. I've got soil tests that were done and started in June of 16, completed in September of 16. We submitted to Walton County the plans. We didn't know about the city's plan at that time. So we submitted plans to Walton County. I was getting water from Gwinnett. I'm the one that put that meter in for all those buildings down the road, by the way. So I had to deal with them to get water. Well, by the time we got around to doing this, and we got the plans approved by Walton County, went to Gwinnett County to see about the water, you know, they had had a different attitude about the water. So we ended up having to annex into the city to bring services to that property. And of course, we found out about the park. I offered easements. I had put in a manhole over 20 years ago across the street that would be able to take that sewer into and then carry it on to a pump station. I'm not sure where it would go from there, but so we had all the easements in place. The city went ahead and got the engineers to draw up the plans to run it from Destination Park through my property on out the other end and across 20. And of course, the cost came back higher than was in it. I've only got 8 lots. If you see, I gave you a little map there of with a black drawing. Okay, there's about 125 acres there. Okay, 2 of those are in the cities. The 2 Cs. One of them is East Side Towing, which I think is 6.7 acres, and the other one is the business park, which is a total of a little over 11 acres with 8 lots in it. So if you can see how much land there is there to come into that. And the numbers just didn't work when the city wanted us to pay $575,000 to complete the project over and above what they had to put into it. Or I'm not sure what the dollar was, but that was somewhere close to that. So we met again. We thought, okay, if the money's not there, I already had it, and I've got my land disturbance permit and septic agreement from Walton County that the land all perked and tested for septic. The plans were redrawn and annexed into the city. We just never pulled any permits, of course, because we haven't figured out where the sewer would go yet, where the water would go yet. So we never completed any changes and submitted for approval to get a building permit or anything, or land disturbance permit. Excuse me. So what we're trying to do now is to come from Tuck Road, where the water line is over there in front of Stevens Repair across from Texaco, I believe, the 8-inch, and bring it under Tuck and up to the property, and then go on septic from there. At least we could get started until the area, I don't know if you've seen the DOT improvements that are happening with Tuck Road, 20 and Sharon Church. But I believe that's going to open things up to where the development would start going, and then there'd be other people to help in the cost of this pump station or the upgrades, which is going to cover all that land and more. Yeah. No. I'm saying I've only got those 8 lots.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that said the 2 Cs. One is John at East Side Towing, and it's not mine. It's Uprise Development. I'm working for them as a developer.
And you say you want to run one from the old Stevens Repair.
Well, somewhere in there where the line is actually the 8-inch line. They brought a 4-inch line years ago up to feed some of those houses on 20 that are in Walton County. But the 8-inch line has to come under Tuck Road. So it's down there somewhere. It's on the same side of the road, but it's got to come bore into the road and then bring it down 20 and turn and come up the property line. Yeah, I gave them all the easements. I've got all those. Well, I don't have the one on 20, but I think we can get it, right, John? I think they're there.
I believe you stay in the right of it, though, wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
you?
except when you come up the,
You would need.
when you leave 20, we've got the easements off of Highway 20, once you leave the right of way.
Who owns the property that's not in the city limits behind Destination Park? Like,
That's the Stevens.
Big lot, Steve, that one house.
Yeah, I think so. Now, that little triangle I put there was only the stuff that would actually gravity flow down. They have a couple hundred acres over there on that side of the road. But I don't know how much of it would flow into this pump station. I just know for sure approximately 20 acres would flow down in there from that side of Tuck Road, from the other side of Tuck Road. And we do have people ready to build buildings in there that are very anxious to find out if they have to go to Barrow County or somewhere else. They want to stay in Walton County, and there's not a whole lot available for them to go into a business park that's ready to go. But they got to be, they have to make a decision. Either
So-
go find somewhere else or whatever.
Those businesses would be on sewer or septic or both?
Well, if the city can find a way to help to find a way to fund the sewer to a certain point, it would extend in all those other areas. When it built out, they'd be there to tap into. But right now, I'm asking just to put it on septic like it was originally approved at Walton County back on 319.
So I think what we're looking at is if we run our water sewer down to Destination Park, down from Fox, then you're going to lay the 8-inch water yourself. Is that right?
I think what
He would come off Tuck Road. So we've got two different, this is where it goes into two projects now. So if you think about Destination Park, we would run that from Foxbury Commons, I believe it's Red Fox Run, down Old Loganville, down by the park, and then we'll dead into the park.
Right.
Then at that point, Mr. Streifert could either, if we run an 8-inch water line, then he could decide if he wants to come in tying off that at Loganville and run to his, or come up 20. I believe 20 makes the most, is probably the most economical.
What I was going to propose on that, Danny, was instead of you spending money going up to Fox with whatever size line, 2, 4, whatever, is to put those funds towards the 8-inch line and get it on, help get it into there with the same dollars you're going to spend in Fox. See what I'm saying?
That could be an option too.
Yeah. So that way we get 8-inch line to Fox up to the park, and we get it on down for the rest of it. Instead of wasting that money on a little 2-inch water line, it does nothing but feed a little bathroom.
I do think it is an 8-inch water line. I'm looking at the notes, I don't see it, but I believe it is. Brandon, it is an 8-inch water line from Foxbury? I thought it was. And it's a 4-inch sewer line. That's what it says.
So Mark, you're saying that you're willing to go with septic for now.
Just on that phase, right?
Just on that space.
Mhm.
And then say in the future, if we decide to go sewage, you're willing to
Yeah, I believe that.
look at that and look at the expense on that.
Exactly. We can take another look at it at that point when that little phase is gone and DOT's in here in a year or two, everything gets moving and things start picking up. I believe that we can get more than one person to come in here and make this happen. But the sewer, we could get the sewer in and have it ready to, I mean, you already have your sewer at the park, so all we'd have to do is run it from there to the pump station.
So with that,
And then across the street to 20.
with that 8-inch line, Brandon, that would be enough for sewer in the future.
Well, 8-inch line is water.
We're talking water right now.
It's water.
Just take destination out of the equation.
Okay.
So what Mark is asking for is to be allowed to not have sewer. Our ordinance says if you're in the city, you have to be on sewer, unless some reason you cannot be. But then it says you have a year to do it, but you must run laterals. So when the sewer is available, which Mark said that he, for his project, he would run the sewer laterals, which is coming from your building to the right of way, and it stops. And then when the sewer force main comes, the public sewer, then they would tie it on at that point. That's when the tap fees would come in place and everything anything else.
Right.
So what he's asking for is a waiver from sewer. He's going to do the water himself. Whatever, however him and the water department comes up with, that's on him. But he has to have a minimum 8-inch water main to build to meet fire flow and to meet our ordinances. So you all would have to make an exception to this because, it's not the first time. If you look at Channel Walk, which is down the road, some of those places are not on sewer because of the granite. I feel.
And there is a lot of rock over in that area. I mean, we don't know exactly where it is until you start
I do believe that
boring.
sewer is not going to be available in this area. Mark's been a developer a lot longer than most of us have been doing anything. I mean, he's told us there is rock there. And there is, and I believe that you said it was 19 feet, the manhole.
16 feet to
So
be able to
he's gonna
catch, the deepest point.
You said that sewage would not be available?
It may not be
It may not
because
be
of the
available
rock.
because of rock.
Yes.
And
That's why I think once the area builds, I think you get enough people together to come in there and join to spend that money. And it can be put in. It's just going to be very costly to do it for, especially, like I said, right now, $1.2 million for 8 little lots. I mean, that's crazy.
So I guess if you're thinking about that, if we were to do this, and we're thinking about, a future development coming in to another piece and developing it, and then y'all going together to hook the sewer up, how do you do that as far as that? Let's say that development comes along and they want the sewer as well, and at that point, you may not be willing to, or whoever owns that property may not be willing to contribute. So we may be in the same boat at that point. So how do you fix that so that?
Well, they'd have to have, if the plan to have sewer it's here today. We have a plan. We just can't get it done with the budget that's available today. Now, will there be more SPLOST dollars in 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Is there more money available? Will more people want to come in and build and say, hey, we need the sewer. We'll put some money up to get it done. I think it will happen, especially if you look at the DOT plans there. Once we get something happening there, I think people are going to, I won't say build it, they'll come, but once things are moving, more people will want to come in and try to do something. We just need, again, I don't have the funds to go, and like Dan said, $1.2 million is a starting point, maybe. We don't know. If we get lucky and don't hit much rock with a force main.
$1.2 million if you don't hit rock.
Well, but it doesn't have to be deep. It's a force main. Now, my little road area, and they won't be very deep coming from Destination Park because it's downhill all the way. So it's minimal depth coming from destination. If they want to go that way.
I think y'all should just look at the 8 lots
Yeah.
because we can say, what if the development comes? Because, that development is also geographically in a different area as far as flow. It may flow a different route than what his would flow. But I think we just concentrate on the 8 lots now because sewer may not even be available in 20 years. We may be at capacity. Who knows? So I think we just worry about Mark's property, and I believe John, he even wants to build a building, so he's part of it. But I'm not going to speak for him.
John, are you good with what Mark's saying about the septic? Can we fill you in?
I am, and I know Danny's trying to hard sell this park, but you guys, if you look down the road, there are more developments coming that way. I spoke to Keller Williams, the realtor lady that I dealt with, Jenny Ward, and the apartments. They're talking about putting apartments behind my section on the 7 acres. So development's coming that way. We talked about putting the pump station in. You guys would have to forfeit some more money, but I think it's better to go that route myself. And I've been on the city council before, and I see the progress that's coming that way. So I would urge you to try to put the pump station in if you can find the the money to do it. We've had meetings with Ray. I haven't had any meetings with you guys, but we've talked to Ray about it. So, and I know that once he's already annexed in, there can't be any islands in the city. So the ones that are on Tuck Road right now, if they do any other development, will have to tap into to that pump station. There can't be any islands in the city.
Danny, do we have anything like this already existing where we've allowed septic?
The city does not put in infrastructure for private development. Only reason I even entertained with Mark was because, why not try to help while we can? Because this is our project for the destination park. But if we go a different route, the city doesn't put in money for subdivision, apartments. That's, developer wants to come, it's cost of
Right.
doing
I
business.
forgot to bring up the part that when I first talked to Danny, I said, I understand, that the city's in, they've spent a lot of money in infrastructure trying to recoup it, got bonds, got whatever. I am willing to pay the sewer charge on the water we use, even without having sewer. Now, we put the infrastructure in, if it's several years down the road or whatever, the point is you're getting your fees for the water that covers all your sewer over the city right now. Any money you spent in the past to help recoup those funds. So we're not saying we want to just buy water. We're willing to pay it as if we had sewer. I think that's fair.
Now, if we go the original plan, Danny, just to get to serve Destination Park, you have to put water on one side of the road and sewer on the other. Is that what you said?
It would be on the same side.
It would be on the same side.
Sorry, y'all.
And then what Mark's asking now is go ahead and run the water like he's proposing, tie into Tuck Road, tie into the Destination Park. We would still have to run the sewer down.
No, he would tie into Highway 20.
He would tie into Highway 20.
Yes. And then we would tie in, because we're closer to Foxbury Commons than we are to Tuck Road.
But okay.
I prefer not to be on Tuck Road because of the rock. After looking at it.
Okay. Well,
And just to answer, I know Mark brought the question about he would pay the sewer charge, and I told him that might be a selling point to y'all. But that's something Robin's got to make sure it's legal, because Mark can say, well, I'll pay it while I have it, but if he sells it to, say, Melanie, then that just binds Melanie to pay sewer for something she don't have. And she may not be willing to do it, or the new person may not. So that's what she's looking at for the council meeting, have an answer on that, but that's going to be a little bit harder to do. So
We could tie it to that 11-acre tract, and any water used on it could be somewhere in the books, couldn't it? To say that it pays the.
possibly that's what she's looking into.
Okay.
I mean, I hear the what you're offering for the sewer, but I can't grasp how much if we're looking at $200,000 to go in and serve Destination Park, and we're looking at 1.2 plus million to do this other project, even paying the additional sewers. I mean, there's just you're not going to get a return on that for several generations. So
Well,
I don't see how you do that myself.
I mean, if we had parties interested now in annexing that piece on the north side of Tuck, or, developers chomping at the bit to add something that we could provide infrastructure that would help more than 8 lots, although I understand you need it, then maybe we could sell it, but
Yeah.
I don't see how we can sell 1.2 million for 8 lots. It's just,
And that's why we're coming up with a temporary solution, not
I understand that.
permanent solution. Yeah.
But I don't think you should pay sewer if you're not using it. I mean, I appreciate the concession, but that just doesn't seem right either. If
Well,
we
the other
can't
people aren't paying on
provide
Tuck Road, but
I mean, if we can't provide sewer as the city because we don't have the infrastructure there, that's not your fault.
well, I mean, I kind of agree. I'm just trying to
I know, but I mean, I appreciate the
trying to
offer,
move
but
forward here after 4 years.
I don't think we,
Yeah, I would agree. The numbers don't work for the city either, and I wouldn't want you to pay sewer until you had sewer.
right.
It's a great gesture, though.
But I would
So-
support the septic tank. What are we calling that? A variance? What is that?
I have Robin there because it's going to have to be a work exchange somehow. But I don't know if it has to be a work exchange since there is issues other than finance.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't supply it, I would support allowing them to do septic as long as they're willing to tie in if and when we have sewer in that
Well, we just got to be
location.
careful saying it's not there because most developments it's not there. They have to run.
Right.
But it's not that it can't be there. It's just back physically you can't run there because I think the depth, the rock, that's the problem.
How much are we looking at for septic? Have you figured that stuff out? If you
mean,
Well, that would be on us. That's not on.
yeah, it's
yeah,
not,
but how?
it all
It
depends. I
all
mean,
depends on the size of the
you know,
buildings.
I have a different question. What kind of precedent are we setting by saying, well, we don't have the infrastructure there, so you guys can do septic, if there's somewhere else in the city where we can't provide it or we don't currently?
That's why I said that it's not there. That's why I said.
Right, that's what I'm asking. And so the developer says, well, it's too expensive, so we just want septic. I mean, I think we have to be careful.
You cannot use that as a hardship case.
Yeah, it's not a hardship
But
case.
getting raw, physically not being able to get there.
That's right. But do we have that, do we have that?
It says if it's, yes.
No, but I mean, do we know that we can't run sewer there because of rock?
Well, that's why I asked Mark to do a geo survey and see.
Okay, are y'all doing that?
We can, but I mean, that's why we're.
I built all those buildings on Tuck Road, every one of them. I actually helped pave that road.
Right.
And I know how much rock we had to blast just to get the road level through
Right.
there. It had little humps in it, and how deep the rock was going through there. There are some areas, even Walton County conceded on water flow, because when I put the big building in, I had to dynamite to get down several feet to lower that building. And they're saying, if I start blasting that deep out there now, we're going to have legal issues with these guys that are already in there. And they're going to come back and say, you cracked my slab, you ruined my machine, you did this, you did that. So it's a real issue when you got to blast a lot of rock to get in.
And that can be what you need to, so somebody else can come here and say, well, this is too expensive. So
Sure.
you could make that a requirement, show us.
Yeah, show us that sewer can't be run there. I think that would be necessary.
Are we
I mean,
asking,
they only call that rock road for nothing, right?
Right.
is the septic a temporary fix or permanent right there?
Just for that phase right now, until we can see if we can get it later. And I'm not talking about later next month, but it's going to take a while to get that area to where there is enough for someone to say, even if we have rock, what will it cost to get the sewer in? No, everybody wants the sewer. No one wants. You lose land when you do septic. Okay, you have a warehouse. You lose all your parking area, for instance. We have all your septic system. So nobody really they'd rather have sewer. Everybody.
Right, and that was what you just said, that if you go in there and start blasting for sewer, you're afraid you might crack someone's slab. So does that mean down the road you probably would never do sewer?
No. What we're saying is, until you have another 20, 30 acres, 40 acres, somebody who wants to come in and put 100 houses, let's say, then it becomes they're getting that extra $500, $600, $700 million to invest becomes feasible. It's not feasible with just 8 lots.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's the only difference. Can they put it in? Could it be put in? Anything can be done for a cost.
I don't think you can use both sides of the argument, because I think what I hear you saying is it's not cost feasible for you with 8 lots, which I agree and understand. So someday when you can share the cost with someone else, you're willing to do it. Well, if we can do it later, then we can't give a variance now for not doing it. I think you got to pick which side of the argument you want to be on. I understand your position.
Well, I mean, we'd have to go out and do geo boards. We've had engineers out there, right?
Yeah,
They haven't done just surveying.
So I think
We
really
don't have a cost of what we know what it would cost to put in with no rock without hitting anything.
Right.
That's all we know. What would the extras be? We don't have that number. And the only reason we need the water is for fire. Put a well in for all that matters, for just drinking water and bathrooms. But they're requiring the 8-inch water line for the fire protection. It's not just to be able to put something on the land, it's to be able to protect
Right.
the building.
Right.
Now, none of those buildings on Tuck Road have but a 2-inch water line right now.
So is the ask because it's a hardship, or is the ask because financially it just doesn't make sense?
Well, there's a hardship right now for the city and for,
I mean, hardship is in you can't put sewer there because of the rock and,
He's gonna have to tell y'all that it's physically not able to put sewer in, to not be able to put sewer,
but we can't do that until somebody does a geo survey.
until we have something.
Yep.
Yeah.
it seems to me the step we're at right now is we need to make the decision on moving forward with Destination Park, the 200,000, and then if and when Mark brings back gets the information and brings back and wants to make a request as far as the hardship. I mean, as far as the physical characteristics of the lots, that's a separate issue to me at this point.
I think you could do a survey, see.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
And that would just be the.
I mean, I know for a fact that 31 acres right below us there, Danny, has got granite coming out of the ground like a mountain. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's visible walking around, but how much of it is where you need to be, we don't know. There's a lot of rock. And even the guys that bored the 4-inch hole under Tuck Road, that's why they did a smaller hole, because there's a lot of rock to bore through.
So Mark, can you get that survey? Can you get that geo survey so we could?
Have we got a cert?
Can you get one?
Oh, can we get one? I think I can do one. I don't know. I may have to get Dan. If we're going to go in different areas out there, not just, you talking about just my area?
Just your area.
Just your.
Destination Park is covered.
No, yeah, just your.
Just your
Yeah.
where you want it.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, we can do that.
Can we get that soon?
I
Right.
think so. I think I've got a guy coming out to do some on another piece in the next week or so. So, yeah, hopefully I can get it. I mean, I'm not quick.
Are you gonna tie this?
I mean,
What do you think?
well,
No.
I think
We're just
the
talking
issue is Destination
Board
Park.
things.
I think we need to move forward with the service to Destination Park, and that's what we need to bring up. As far as we need to bring that up at the council meeting next week.
If he can get it to me by then, but I don't know if he will, it may have to be tabled until December to me.
And that's fine. That's the direction we're headed. And Mr. Streifert can come back at any point in time once he's got the investigation and make the proposal or the pitch for doing the septic. But I don't think without that, I don't think we have. It's really prudent for us to try to team on this. It's just the cost is too far apart.
Well, can y'all get with Robin to see whether or not we can put this septic tanks in? Get a legal opinion on that so we can.
You can put septic tanks in, you gotta have a reason why you can't connect sewer.
Okay.
And what they're saying is you can't say because I don't want to pay money.
Right.
You gotta have a physical reason.
That's why I was asking, what is the ask? Is it because the rock, the physical conditions under the ground that you don't
And I
know?
would say that she would not allow to pay for something that you don't have.
Well, I thought I read something somewhere that says if you're within 200 foot of sewer, but we're talking about several thousand feet to get to sewer, not a few hundred feet. So that's a big difference
Right,
too.
it is in there too. It goes from
You
property
know,
line, so.
If it's there, you got to tie into it, but it's not there, nowhere near there. And to say that I got to pay the whole cost for 100 and something acres to go 3/4 of a mile, I had 3/4 of a mile to put 8 lots into a manhole that I put in, and all the easements that I gave to get there for the city, it just doesn't seem fair, especially when all the other buildings are on the water that I put in 20 years ago that don't have sewer. They're on septics. They're back up to that property. They're right there on Tuck Road, right behind it. It's the same property. And I blasted rock in there and dug rock to get foundations in. We tried to do wells out there and couldn't do it, so the Gwinnett County agreed to sell the water. That's how we got the 2-inch water meter that I bought from Gwinnett County to get to those buildings, because we tried drilling wells back then, and you couldn't get water.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else? So, Danny, we cover item 2.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next 2 items are just really updates. They're on one of them's on the agenda. So the first one's Walton County water rates. The contract expires next year. They've asked for an increase in rates. I was going back and forth with them. They're not really willing to budge on the rates. So the county hasn't increased water rates in 3 contracts, 15 years. They've been at the current rate, but they are going up. I'm trying to spread it out over the contract, but I'm not getting much headway. So I'm just giving you an update. If I can get it worked out by next week, I'll have it on the agenda, but I'm still waiting to hear back from Walton County on that. The second one is Route 16. That's on the agenda to talk about next week. That deals with water and sewer as well. So on Old Loganville, on the right side of Old Loganville, the Snellville side, it is our water customer, or our sewer customer, but Gwinnett County's water customer. So back in 2011, we did an agreement with them that we would take over their meters and bill their customers so we could control the sewer. Because we were billing the sewer customer and Gwinnett County was billing them the water customer, but if they didn't pay their sewer bill, we had no way of turning the sewer off. Sewer is controlled by your water. So Gwinnett allowed us to bill those customers. Certain conditions we can't give breaks to them. Gwinnett County has to approve it. That contract's coming up in 2021. The mayor and I met with Chairwoman Nash, county manager, back in July of this year. They have agreed to do a 25-year contract. So this is something that we desperately need so we can continue what we're doing, billing Gwinnett County. We're just a pass-through, but more likely, the best thing is that we're not losing money now with the sewer. So we control that. So will be on the agenda. Any questions about that?
So if it doesn't expire till December of 21,
We went ahead and did it now because Gwinnett County is changing
okay.
in January.
Right.
A lot of departments heads are leaving. The chairwoman, who's been very great to us. So we felt it was strong to go ahead and get it now. And we did.
It took many, many years to get this
Yeah.
agreement.
Sure.
So Chairwoman Nash is fantastic. Mayor's one that facilitated that meeting. So kudos to him for that. So this is on the agenda, but it is, I asked for 20 and they said, why not 25? I said, okay, I'm at 50. But 25 is what we got.
25 is reasonable.
We tried 30.
I'll be gone hopefully by then.
Yeah.
Any questions either from y'all or the audience on that? Brandon, do you have anything else that you didn't say nothing? You have any other questions? Just a few updates. They ran the line across Tom Brewer Road last night. They briefly cut off Walton County's water line. I believe it took them 4 hours to make that connection. And then hopefully by next week, it'll be a new water source coming into Twin Lakes Pump Station. And then Thanksgiving week, crews will be laying a 16-inch water main at Trident Trail. That's the school owns that road. We're working out an easement with them as we speak. So the thing was we had to do it during Thanksgiving break since the school is closed. So crews will be working starting Friday night, working up to day of Thanksgiving on that. So if you see them, that's what they're doing. Hopefully we don't hit rock. So there's your updates from that department. That's all I have.
Y'all haven't tied in up at 81 yet.
81.
The Twin
No.
Lakes to 81 and all
No,
that.
we got to turn off the Trident Trail as part of that. We got to cut that main because it's still feeding the pump station, which still feeds 81. So that'll come in some time. The biggest thing is what they did last night, and of course the 16-inch water main.
Any update on our pending
The
proposal, RFQ, RFP?
No, he was on a conference call, I believe, today with them. Yesterday, but I'm not sure. I've not heard any further on that.
Okay.
ARC,
Yes.
Right, ARC.
I have emailed, called, text John Orr, and tell him what's going on. So he's aware. Don't want to bother him too much because kind of waited a little bit because of the elections,
Right.
in ARC. But I've reached out within the last 2 days, and as soon as I hear something from John Orr, as you know, John Orr and Kerry Armstrong, folks at ARC, so we're pushing it.
All righty.
And as you all know, the T-Splosh failed, so had big plans for that money, but One more.
Try again.
Yep, try again. So
2 more years.
Same
if the
roads
county
are-
calls for it.
Y'all gonna have the same roads?
Same potholes.
Same potholes? I can't hear you. Speak. Anyway,
All righty, thank you. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
got a motion?
Motion.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.